I'm Jeanette Cancer from Jewelry Arts Inc. In this video, I'm going to show you how we solder together an open back bezel setting. Now, I'm going to be using our brand new 22 karat solder. We've been working on this for months and months, like everything. All I feel like I ever say to people is, well, we've been working on, we always have 1,000 projects at once, but the solder that we've been able to develop flows beautifully, way better than anything I've ever used before. So I know you'll love it. Of course, you can get it on my tools website. There's the plug. So enjoy the video. Here to show you some fucking badassery that Alexis, the lovely Alexis who's filming right now, has accomplished so far. She has this, see this juicy, fat, gorgeous turquoise stone right there? Love it. Delicious. So she made a delicious bezel, a delicious thick wire that goes around it, and a delicious thinner wire that fits inside. Both of these wires were fused shut and then stretched to fit this really beautiful and tight, because this is going to be, when it grows up, it's going to be a ring setting and she wants it open. So the wire inside is what's going to hold the stone. The wire outside is beautiful and decorative. So this is like all we could ever desire out of life for something like this. It's fit really beautifully. There's no spaces. That's what we were working on earlier. So what I'm going to show you is, I'm sure you've heard me before talk about how this new solder that we've developed is like Captain Badass. It's amazing. Like we joke that like capillarity works overtime, you know, like that ability for it to really travel is crazy. So this is all 22 karat so far. We've fused the wires shut. So we're gonna go ahead and use the 22 karat soft solder. I've balled it up in some adorable little balls like this. You see how cute and little they are. And little balls are, they leave less scars and they also fit in those little spaces really well. It's just really easy to operate with something like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little flux in there. I'm gonna dry it, put a few pieces of solder, melt it, and then I just look and see how much more I need to add. I don't usually, honestly, put them everywhere because I feel like if your bezel's relatively large and something's happening here, but my eyeballs are over here, it just isn't always great the bigger it gets to have solder everywhere. Try to work in an area that you can actually pay attention to at one time, you know what I'm saying? And then just, because you can so easily add. It's no big deal, okay? So, I've got some nice like soupy paste flux, you know, my favorite thing. Just gonna add a little on there. Why am I using these icky tweezers? I don't know. I'll use the other ones. You see what I mean? Like I'll dry it a little bit, and then normally what I do is I take my little balls, I dip them in a tiny bit of flux just to like make them wet, you know, and like stick them where I want them. I mean, for real, look at that shit. So nice. Such a beautiful fit. This piece is gonna be like, so delicious. You see, if they're a little wet, you don't wanna like put gallons of this on here because it gets too goopy and then you can't see what's what. Now, truthfully, normally I would solder one wire on and then do the other. These all fit so nicely. I think I'm just gonna like work a section at a time, you know, like boop, 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 you know what I mean? And just work my way all around. It doesn't really matter as long as by the time you're done, there's solder everywhere. And another thing that I found with this solder, it flows like so far that I was doing like a bead and I put like 1 or 2 tiny pieces and it flowed like 300 miles. It was crazy, you know? I mean, I'm sure you all know though, a pretty tight seam is the secret to getting the solder to travel really far. Like, can you fill it? If it isn't so tight, you absolutely can and you will. But if you want it to really travel far, a tight seam is definitely the way to go. So that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to do this section, you know what I mean? And then I'll see how far it goes and I can just add more. And basically I've got 2 little pieces on the inside one and 4 bigger pieces on the outside. It's a bigger seam. Okay. So you see that? I'll dry it also just a hair more again, and then I'm going to really go to town. Okay. So I'm going to dry again just a tiny bit. But you notice I didn't get it too soupy. So I do kind of need all of this to get hot. The bezel, the wire, you know what I mean? So I am kind of heating this whole seam and area. You see that? Look at that. Ooh, what? How beautiful is that? So now I'm going to just take a look and see, you know, how much more I need to add. But you notice also using the balls and everything, it's just like, it's so pristine, you know? I love it. And actually, so by Studio Magic, the piece is now pickled. It filled in everywhere. It's ridiculously beautiful. I'm going to do a quick like close-up thing so you can see. I'll put it down, but like, it's just... Now, don't get me wrong, having a tight seam will help you no matter what solder you use, but these new formulas are an incredible improvement over what we've had available before. So, you love it. So you can see how ridiculously clean and beautiful this seam is. Oh my God. A tight seam and good solder, what can't you do?